Welcome to the Jesus Show. Not that one.
Hey! Welcome back, guys. If you notice, today's shirt I'm wearing is AJ's. I think this was a throwback to 2016? Maybe? I don't remember. Anyways, I thought, why not show some love to the LA Galaxy and my boy, AJ De La Garza. Did you guys notice again? Cristiano was the intro to the show. It's really grown on me. I really like it. Again, if you guys want to try and do the intro to the show, you can record yourself and send it into the show. Just email it to TheJesusShowNTO at gmail.com. Try it out and maybe I'll use it. Maybe I won't. Who knows? You don't know unless you try. Speaking of trying, my guest for today, I am over the moon about it. I'll get into that in just a moment. I want to share with you guys real quick a little story about the apartment complex. So recently, somebody who lives here, I can't give the person's name. They know. You're watching, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So there's this lady that lives here, and I only thought she had one dog, but apparently now she has two dogs. So one of our friends who lives here, she just a couple days ago, she told us that her dog was attacked by, well, is attacked a good word? Yeah, it attacked her dog Rocco because, should I say Rocco's name? Yeah, fuck it. The dog attacked Rocco. He's a sweet, sweet, sweet dog. Every time I see him, he'll bite my beard, and he just kind of barks at me. He not bites, but he just nibbles at my beard, and I give him some love. I love that guy. Aside from our dogs, I love that guy. No, because there is Prince. I do love Prince too. I like a lot. I love a lot of dogs. What I'm trying to say is I love Rocco also. Anyways, so Rocco got bit on one of his legs. He had 2 punctures, and then on his head. So this girl's dog also went after Jacob's dog, Opie, went after Apollo. I don't know if he went after Thanatos. I know Thanatos came in and started trying to fuck him up. They were, I think they were like 8 months, 7 months. Oh yeah, and our boys turned 1. Hey! So I mean, this dog has attacked a lot of people's dogs. So I don't know. I've never understood, like, if you have a dog and it attacks other dogs, you would think that you'd be more mindful around other dogs. But I mean, some people are fucking stupid. Like this lady. Well, it's her mom, and I guess her sister or something. They're all fucking just dumber than a box of rocks. It's embarrassing. So yesterday, right? Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Yeah, the boy's birthday. On the boy's birthday, Jacob came over to give the boys a gift. He got them a couple duck hearts, turkey necks, and a duck head. They're freeze dried, and we give the boys a bunch of raw food and stuff, and they love it. So he came over, gave him a gift, and we were like, "Oh, thanks, man. You didn't have to do that." The same Jacob who gave me the guitar that I played last week that everybody kept telling me that is amazing. You're welcome. So we're talking to him over at the dog park, just kind of catching up with him a little bit. And the girl comes around the corner coming from where Jacob lives. And her dogs start barking. Our boys are further away from us, and they run up to the gate, and they rah, 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 rah. So everybody starts barking at each other. But our boys are in a enclosed dog park, and they were by me, so I'm trying to, I'm telling them, like, oh, relax. But her dogs lunge to try to go up to the fence where the boys are, and she couldn't control. The girl weighs maybe like 100 pounds, if that. So as they're pulling her, she's pulling back, and she falls back, And at first, I don't know if she hit her head. At first, I was like, oh shit. So we all asked, are you okay? And when she said yes, once we figured out she was fine, then in my head, I thought, that's what you fucking get for having your dogs. Number one, I think they were on like a retractable leash, or maybe it was just a long leash. Again, if you know your dog's lunge, and I'll tell you, Thanatos, one of my dogs, our dogs, me and Allie's dogs, he'll lunge at people and other dogs. He'll do it. Sometimes he's fine. Other times, just he wants to fuck somebody up. But we know that about him, right? So on our leash, we have the handle at the end of the leash and a handle closer to the collar so we can control him better. So when we see people approaching, we grab that point. And that's usually how we walk them, because we like them to walk next to us, not too far in front, because we watch a lot of Cesar Millan, and Cesar Millan says that's what you should do. I don't know if that's what you should do, but that's what we do. I like to have them next to me. That's just my personal preference. So because I know he does this, I'll grab him. I will grab that part of the leash where it's closer to him so I have more control. Now, when I'm grabbing him, I don't tense up because, again, Cesar Millan says, if you tense up and you're nervous, the dog can feel it and then it could cause them to react. So I normally walk Thanatos with a shorter portion of the leash. And, we'll just go, we're relaxing. And then the moment I see that he's about to lunge, I give him a little no. And then if he does, I have a lot more control of him. So he does this thing where he'll get on his back legs and he'll just kind of hop. And and I tell him no, and I put my body between him and the dog or the person or whoever, and I try to get his attention on me. Put like a treat. I have a treat in my hand. I put it, like, hey, like focus. It's not attack mode. This is walk time. This is me and you time. So I do all these things. Also, if I see somebody coming towards me with a dog, I tend to either go the other way or I'll find another path because I'm an adult and I can use my brain. And I go, the smart thing in this situation is to do something else. Don't go towards the fucking dog that you already know you've had problems with. There's some dogs around here that our dogs have had problems with. They bark at them and sometimes it's for no reason. And we think, what the fuck's wrong with our dogs? So we just try to avoid it. So there isn't a situation, right? Yeah, no. These people are fucking dumb and they don't do any of that. You would think that, maybe once or twice. No, this is like the 20th, 21st, 22nd time and they still don't fucking get it. Anyways. So she fell and I thought, fuck yeah, that's what you get. Karma. Now remember, I said we made sure she was okay. She said she didn't hit her head. She could have, but she seemed okay. And I was just like, yeah, fuck that. Moral of the story, make sure you control your dogs. Because if we can do it, you can do it. The more you know. Now, let's get into it. My guest for today is somebody I grew up. When I say grew up, it seems like he's been in the league forever. He has, but I think I'm 2 years older than him, 3 years older than him. I can't remember. But like I was saying in the beginning, shoot your shot or take a chance. I messaged him on Instagram. I guess I don't have to keep you in suspense too long because you guys probably already saw the name of the guest on the title of the show. It's Kei Kamara. Holy shit. That's insane. I sent him a message on Instagram and I went, hey man, I would love for you to be on the show and that'd be cool. And then I think 2 days later, he sent me a message. He's like, yeah, let's do this. And I went, holy shit. So yeah, I get to interview Kei Kamara. If you guys don't know who he is, you should, because duh. And you can find him on Instagram. I want to make sure I have this correct. It's at the number 2, the letter K, the number 3. So 2K3 on Instagram. Uh, I talked to him. He didn't have very much time, or he didn't have too much time because he agreed to do this while he was in Sierra Leone. He was with the national team out there. I asked him if he wanted to reschedule, and he was more than happy to give me his time. So I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do this. So I only wanted to keep him on for like 30, 40 minutes because I didn't want to take too much of his time. And I was even ecstatic that, well, I was surprised and ecstatic that he said yes. So here we go with Kei Kamara. All right, everybody, we're back with my guest today, Kei Kamara. Hey, man, thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate it.
No problem. When you see a name like that, you can't not do show with Jesus. So I was like, yes, let's do this.
Nice. Well, let's jump into it, man. Where did you grow up?
So I from Sierra Leone, from Kenema, which I'm in Sierra Leone right now talking to you. It's what is it, 8 p.m. here in Sierra Leone,
Yeah,
and it's about 75 degrees. So it's warm.
nice.
But I was born and raised in Kenema, Sierra Leone, and I grew up here. And then later on, after the Civil War, I was able to move to the Gambia, which is a little island country inside of Senegal. And
Okay.
I was in the Gambia for a few years while we then migrated to the United States in a refugee program.
Oh,
So
wow.
then when I went to the U.S., it was California, Los Angeles.
So at what age did you come to America?
I moved to the U.S. at the age of 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
my soccer didn't really start until I was 17, so it's crazy.
No way. Really?
Yeah. Because I didn't. I mean, I was 16, um, September, and September 2000, and that's when I moved to the U.S. in October of 2000. So I didn't start playing until the next year, 2001, when I did move to LA. That's when I started playing soccer and competitively. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I mean, my next question is like, when did you see yourself like, oh, I want to go pro? Like, were you aware that you can play soccer as a living?
I guess when you're from Africa, from around these parts, or you could say South America and all these places, people always want to play soccer. And
Okay.
I remember after leaving Africa, you know, your friends tell you, "Yeah, go out there, go show those little boys, how we play out here," but you're scared. But when I moved to the U.S. and then I saw the MLS, I remember watching the MLS once, and it was the Marcus Beasley and Landon Donovan days, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I want to play. I want to play in the MLS.
Yeah.
And then living in LA, growing up just being Kobe Jones fan, just follow Kobe and Los Angeles
Same.
Galaxy. I'm just right next door to the Galaxy place, and all that motivated me when I saw the stadium being built. I went to Lunzinger High School in Hawthorne, California, same school as Russell Westbrook. Woohoo!
Oh, nice.
Um, and my other boy, Darrell Wright, Dylan Wright. So yeah, it's a good school actually. And Jesse, I'm sorry, we all went to the same high school. And then Home Depot Center was being built. So while Home Depot Center is being built, that was kind of the motivation, to say, okay, now you got to go to college. And so I chose to go to Cal State Dominguez Hills. So then I can be close to the Galaxy and watch the stadium build up in 2000, 2002, 3, and 2005 or so. And then I went to school there in 2006, and through all that, just you see the stadium. I go to the Galaxy games. I see Kobe all the time and follow the
Yeah.
Galaxy, and that's just how.
Oh, that's really cool. When you were playing at Cal State Dominguez Hills, did you ever like did you think, oh, okay, if I want to go into the MLS, I want to play for the Galaxy? Like, was that in your
Yeah,
head at all?
yeah. I mean, come on, you're a hometown boy. You're from LA, like growing up in LA. I was in the riot squads cheering for the Galaxy,
Nice.
So all the songs, the Galaxy songs and stuff. So it was, yes, definitely was one of those. I wanted to play for the Galaxy, and I worked at the Home Depot Center at the stadium.
Okay.
So, and Ziggy Schmid was the coach then, and I played in high school against Ziggy's kids, and Ziggy used to bring me in and training with the Galaxy. So with all that, it was kind of like in your DNA, feeling like you're gonna play for the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I started knowing all the guys, Pete Paynes and Albrights, Lewis and everybody that played for the Galaxy. And but at the end of the day, Ziggy moved to Columbus, Ohio, and he picked me and took me to Columbus, Ohio.
So leads into my next question. So is that how you ended up in Columbus?
Yeah, the first time around in 2006 when I got drafted, that's how I ended up playing for Columbus Crew. Ziggy had moved, and Ziggy was one of the first. Ziggy and Bob Bradley was the only two coaches that really knew who I was. Bob was
Okay.
with Chivas USA, and Bob used to also bring me in for training, so he knew me, and Ziggy knew me well. So Ziggy played a lot of mind games, though, man. Like I remember during the draft year, he's like, when we were going to the draft and we played the combine, he's like, yeah, I didn't really do that well. So now I'm nervous. I don't know what team I'm gonna go to because Ziggy said I didn't do well in the combine.
Oh wow.
And then all
Okay.
of a sudden, then he drafted me, and then he drafted me. But what a legend he is, man.
He was one of my favorite coaches growing up. Obviously he coached the Galaxy, and I grew up watching him. Um, and then when he left, I was like, oh man, the Galaxy are never going to be the same. I was like, oh, this is terrible. And then, real quick, if I can tell you a quick story, when I was younger,
Yeah.
it was during the off season, and the U.S. came to play at the Home Depot Center. And I remember seeing you, from our seats, and I, told my girlfriend at the time, I was like, oh my God, look, it's Kei Kamara. She goes, go over there and say hi. And I go, no, no,
What game?
no.
What game was it? Those January games?
I think it had to have been one of the January games. I want to
Yeah.
say I think they played Sweden.
Yes.
I think they
Okay.
played
Those
Sweden.
Scandinavian teams, definitely.
Yeah. And, like I said, I saw you and she was like, go ask him for a picture. I was like, no, I'm not going to ask him for a picture. I was like, no, no, no.
Come
And
on, man.
I
Come
think I saw
on.
you like from afar and I was like, hey, and that was it. I was just too nervous, man. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. But every
It's
time I
probably
would,
the, it's probably the one and only game I remember. In January, I went to watch a U.S. game. The first time I paid to watch a soccer game,
really?
and I was so pissed. Yeah, I was like, I'm at the Home Depot Center. I'm calling everybody to get tickets, and I didn't get it, and I paid to go watch a game, and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna mark this as the first time I paid to watch a soccer
A
game, and it was
soccer
the
game.
U.S. game. Yeah.
So how was it going from you coming to the States and then now you're with Columbus Crew? Like what went through your head when you're like, oh man, I'm with an MLS team now?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's a blessing. It's crazy. It's work. It's sacrifice. For the young ones, really, you have to make those sacrifices and set your goals. You set your goals and go get it. It's fun when you're working towards your goals. Because when I said in 2000 moving into the U.S. and then watching the MLS, and then I said, yeah, I want to play in the MLS. It was just more of me saying it, and
Yeah.
then they were like, okay, you got to play in school because here they draft people from school. So I said, no problem. And then now they're okay. You got to keep your grades. You got to play in school. So high school, I was like, yeah, I can do that. And I was able to play at high school. You play 4 years, but I only played 2 years because I was really late. As I moved to the U.S. late, but I made up my school in summer times and all this. And then now they're like, okay, for you to play, you have to play in college. And now it was hard, really, to get the grades and then go to college. I redshirted my first year, so it doesn't really always happen for everyone because
Yeah.
my education level was really low coming from Sierra Leone and coming from Africa and moving to the U.S. My SAT scores were bad, but I redshirted and I sat there and I learned. And as I was just around the players and some of the actually good players from Calcio Dominguez Hills that did go up to pro level and play, Javier Barragan, goalkeeper that, did go and play for Chivas USA. Victor Guerrero, one of our best players over at Calcio Dominguez Hills later on, also, I was with Chivas USA for a bit. So I watched those guys and they really motivated me to say, I can do it too. And so the transition of really being an immigrant into the U.S. and then finally than becoming a professional soccer player. It was just setting goals and just going for it.
How was the support system at home? Like, were your parents supportive when you were like, hey, look, this is the path I want to go?
I only live with my mom. Yeah, single parent. My mom and my mom work as a waitress, and she she was gone all the time. But the fact that I saw her gone all the time working
Hmm.
motivated me to stay, out of trouble. So I knew I couldn't come home after school because there's nobody home. She's at work. So what I did was I involved myself in sports. So I did volleyball, cross country, track, and all this. So that after school, I stayed at school and participated in after school programs, and trained. So she supports me by the way she, how hard she worked. My mom
Yeah.
never watched me play high school soccer, and my mom never watched me play until I went to college, and she watched like
Really?
maybe 2 games of mine in college
Well, because she was
because
always
she was
working,
always
right?
working.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, but I did not hold that against her because, again, we're from this African family where you have to support, not just people in America, family in America, but also have to send stuff to Africa and support the family back home. So she had to
Yeah.
just keep doing that, and that was my motivation. She does that, and then I know, it's not like she's not there, but she's there. Now I got to make sure I stay sane and stay out of trouble and make sure I'm doing my own stuff.
Yeah, of course. Wow, man,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I wanted to ask you, so one of the things that when I've watched you play, one of the things that I've noticed when you one of your goal celebrations is you make a heart with your hands. How did that come about?
Um, it's a later story, but obviously I would say heart shaped hands has just been yes, my celebration before Gareth Bale. By the way,
Okay. You
Gareth
got it
Bale trying
first.
to trademark heart shaped hands.
Yeah.
But it was I think the first year when Vancouver Whitecaps came into the league. Actually, it was my first year doing the heart shaped hands, and 2011 I want to say it was, and that's just how it started. There's a little bit of a backstory to it that I haven't explained yet, which I will explain maybe when I'm done playing soccer. But then now heart shaped hands just became my signature stuff. I do my dance, my other celebrations all the time, but the heart shaped hands is a signature, and
Yeah.
which is great that the fact that it led me into then building my foundation called Kei Kamara Heart Shaped Hands Foundation, which I am using my heart and my hands to give back to my country, Sierra Leone. So it's
Oh, that's
just,
beautiful,
I don't
man.
know, it just worked out perfect. Yeah.
So when did you start your foundation?
My foundation started in 2012.
2012.
Um,
Okay.
yes, in 2012 started the foundation. I had been doing foundation work since 2009 when I played for Houston Dynamo, but I never really wanted to think, oh, I need to register it because I felt
Yeah.
like this is just my country. I'm helping kids. I'm helping school going kids. And then when I was in Kansas City, then they motivated me, say, no, if you've been doing this since 2009, we should register the foundation, and so you can actually people can help you, so it's not just your money that you're putting into it, because usually what I do is every time I get an appearance, I use my appearance fee and put it in there, and so I can give
Oh,
back. They're like,
nice.
people will love to help, so that's how it started.
Oh, that's really cool. I was telling you off camera that my cousin works for Legends FC, and he was telling me that they got a whole U-Haul together and they just donated a bunch of stuff. And then it was really cool because then when I saw you post it, you posted something on your Instagram,
Yeah.
and it's just showing the kids, like just the appreciation, just playing soccer and running around, and you just see all these kids like, wow, that's really touching. And that's one of the reasons why I started following your foundation,
Okay.
because not only did I see it on Instagram, because I mean that's how normally I see things,
Yes, yes.
but then I thought, what is it besides Instagram that I want to see? So it was, just the way you're helping everybody out. And I think that's really amazing that you want to give something back to the people or the place that you grew up. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it
fantastic.
is. It is. Thank you for following. The foundation, and it's to me. I owe everything to yes, to where I grew up. Yes, if it wasn't for the Civil War, if it wasn't from coming from Sierra Leone, mentally I wouldn't have been so strong. I would have been this happy guy going around and just being happy. So I wanted to use the opportunity to say, when I was a kid, I hung out with the soccer players. They were my idols, the guys that played for local teams, and we followed them like there are Ronaldos, are Messi's. They're the
Yeah,
only people I knew. So now it's the fact with social media, and I come back and play for the national team. I want these kids to be able to touch me and reach me, and I'm right there for them. Even though yes, you can be the Kei Kamara, but I'm right there, and they can access you. So hardship ends now. It's going into making it more given empowerment to sports and education, because here people are getting lost into I just want to be a professional soccer player, and they're dropping out of
yeah,
school. So that's why we're doing all like this holiday again with the help of Legends FC, grabbing so much gear that they did. Shout out to Drew, Ray, and Legends putting that together. Um, Getting all this equipment, bringing it back home, and then I was like, we're creating clinics around the country, and people are like, "What are clinics?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then we create these clinics, and with these kids, and it was only school-going kids that we played. And people thought I wanted to pick the best players. No, and I'm playing handball with them. I'm playing different games, and I was like, no, it's about just togetherness. How do we bring everybody together so we can then play, and then we're teaching like life lessons so these kids know it. And it's not just about how many times you can juggle, how can you beat this player. So
yeah.
slowly, gradually introducing like the basics of the game to them that really doesn't get teach around here.
What are the age groups that are part of this? Like, do you have like K through 12, or what's the age range?
Yeah, so with this first clinic that we did, we only kept it age 10 to 12 with these
Okay,
kids. Yeah, so it was just so, and over here it's called I think it's like our grade nine, our ninth grade, I think it is.
okay.
No, it's not our ninth grade. Maybe it's our 10th grade. Wait, sorry. No, what am I saying? Middle school. It's middle school.
Okay.
I didn't go to middle school in America, so I don't know. But yeah, it's 10 to 12 the registration, and it was really about not just because all the boys want to play, but I made
Yeah,
it equal amount of boys and girls. You know, I
yeah.
forced the schools to give me 5 boys, 5 girls, 5 boys, 5 girls, and the girls came out again. For example, most of them are shy because the boys are the ones playing soccer all the time. But when they came out, now there's handball, there's tag, there's running, and then they're like, oh, then they start relaxing and really getting into it. And then, then there's some soccer aspects, but it's just the all the ways that I've learned through the US and different places, different clinics and camps that I've done. I'm trying to bring that back into my country and introduce it.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
When was the first time you played for Sierra Leone, the national team?
2008. Yeah, 2008. It was good.
How did that
Remember in
feel getting
2000,
called up?
it was good. It's so different though. I mean, like you say, you seen my posts, and street soccer is everything over here.
Yeah.
So I remember in 2006 when I first got drafted, that's when I started making some money. And I was like, I'm going to buy my ticket because it's really expensive, $2,500 to buy a round trip ticket to Sierra Leone. So I bought
Really?
a ticket and I came. Yeah, that was then. So I bought a ticket and I came. And then I wanted to play just with the guys. And then you have to play on these local, like street games. So I went and played in these local games. And basically, that's your trial for the national team.
Oh,
Because when you
really?
start playing in those games and then people know about you, then they start saying your names and then people know more. So in 2007, again, I did the same thing. And then later they were like, okay, 2008, because it's usually in December in the off seasons in America. So I come. So they go next year for the games coming up, we're considering calling you. I was like, wait, so I've proved myself on the streets. I got my cred.
Yeah.
So, and then, but it was a tough one because in 2008 also was the Olympic year, and Ziggy had brought me in and said, "Hey, they're thinking about calling you for the Olympic team." you
Oh,
know,
wow.
for the
Okay.
U.S. because I
Yeah.
was a citizen. And I was like, you know, I if I go play for Sierra Leone, I will really get connected to the country. I will be able to travel to Sierra Leone more. But if I stay here, then basically I won't get my chance to go home more. So I'm happy I made the decision to come back here and
Yeah.
be involved. Yeah,
Do you go home every off season?
every off season, every off season. I know my wife is like, no, she's used to it now. She's trapped. I'm like, yeah, my kids, it's great. Even this last off season, my three kids and my wife's sister, my brothers, we brought maybe like 15 people to Sierra Leone.
Nice.
It's a holiday, but I put
Yeah.
them all to work with hardship hands because
Yeah,
now
of
we came
course.
in and everybody was working. No, I come home all the time for the off season. That's our holiday. Come to Sierra Leone, spend time here. And then obviously during the season when there's international breaks, I get to come back and play for national team.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Right now, I'm here right now we're training with the national team because we have two games coming up for the African Cup qualifications.
Oh, wow. Okay. What are those games?
Yeah, on the 27th, we're playing Lesotho, so down south by South Africa area, and then on the 30th, we're playing Benin in Sierra Leone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then
So
usually after that, like, what do you usually take a couple days after the last game to come back, or do you usually come back like right away?
when we're in season in the U.S., it's like the next flight. We were in the next flight,
Yeah.
rushing. I remember once I've been in a flight straight to Seattle and getting on the field to play in a game for
What?
Kansas City. Yeah, and I remember once also going straight to Kansas and have to play in a game, but I was a sub, and just because of the time difference, I remember sitting on the bench sleeping, just
No
nodding,
way.
like, coach, put me in already because I'm
Yeah.
sleeping here because the time difference is killing me. Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy. As
yeah.
This is interesting to me as a flight attendant, um, because I mean I think of those things. How many flights does it take you to get home and then back? Is it just it's
Yeah,
not a
to,
direct flight,
to
is
fly
it?
to Sierra Leone, no, no, we have to always fly through either Paris, Brussels. Before it used to be Heathrow. So
Oh,
no matter
okay.
where you're coming from the U.S., so those are the places you're connecting through, and then you have a direct flight to Sierra Leone.
Okay. Also, it's I guess it's not too bad. It's only two flights.
No, it is. It's depending on where you're coming from, but it's the
Yeah.
waits in between because there's only one flight that will then fly to Sierra Leone. So usually my
Oh,
wait to
okay.
Paris now is like a 5-6 hour wait in between, depending on what time I get in, and then flying, coming here.
When you get out there, uh, like, do you feel the time change?
A little bit. Right now, I'm feeling it because
Yeah.
we train in the morning, and I go home and I take a nap, and then I try to, sleep at night, and I can't sleep, and I'm up because I have to be up. It's 6 o'clock in the morning because we train by 6:30 because it gets to 80, 85 degrees by 9 o'clock. So we have to train
Yeah.
super early. Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I asked that is because as a flight attendant, I've always noticed that when I fly to Asia, I don't really feel the time change, but when I go to Europe, I feel it bad. But I mean, I'm not doing anything like you are. I'm not running around. All I'm doing is passing people cokes, and then later on I go out to eat, and so it's nothing that strenuous.
It's cool though. I've actually said it only happened once. I've said for the amount of time that I've flown, and I haven't ran into a flight attendant twice, and
Yeah,
because like yeah, for the
it
amount of
doesn't
time you
happen
fly
usually.
all the yeah.
Yeah.
So then finally it happened. I ran into one person twice,
Oh, really?
and I was just like, yes, it finally happened.
That means you fly a lot.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to ask you, so you were in MLS, and then comes your loan stint with Norwich, right? In
Yes,
England. How did
yes.
it feel going from the MLS and then playing in England?
A kid, man, a kid in this dream, still just don't believe, these things are happening, but it's amazing because again, now I live in America. Now I went to college in America and even play in America, and then so which means every Saturday you wake up early to watch the EPL.
Yeah.
Even before our games in MLS in the morning, what motivates you? It's like to wake up and watch EPL games, and you get ready for your game. So to finally feel like, in 2013, it was a random call from my agent, very random. We're in preseason when it was like teams are interested. We weren't looking for it at all.
Oh,
And
really?
say somebody's interested. No, it was not. It wasn't like we're shopping to say, okay, this year we want to go Europe. No,
Yeah.
very random. So then to be in the EPL and just to wake up in mornings and go into training, and I was just like, what? Like I'm really here? Or like playing in the games, and every once in a while during those stops, I'm like really thinking like I see I see the Kai that's laying in bed in the US in the morning watching this game that
Yeah.
I'm in, because those are the games you watch. So
Dude,
it's
that's crazy.
yeah. It's like that.
So you went to Norwich and then you went to Middlesbrough,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then you came back to the US. When you came back to the US, was it something that you were looking for a specific team to come back to, or it was just like, yo, I'm gonna go back to MLS. Let's see who picks me up.
No, I was looking for a specific team. I actually tweeted it, and people are like, "Man, you shouldn't have done that." I was like, "If I'm coming back to the U.S., because when there was new rumors, guys coming back. There was few teams, and I tweeted, on that trend saying, if I'm coming back to the U.S., I'm going to no other place but back to Kansas City because
Yeah.
that's home, And Columbus called, and so Kansas City didn't work out. Columbus called, and the first thing that went through my mind was, Ziggy again. And the time that I spent in Columbus, I was there for 2 years, 2 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd only scored 5 goals. So it was just 2 goals one season, 3 goals the other, and I was just like, right when they called and they talked, I said yes, because I wanted to rewrite that history.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was way better than that. There's no way I can score just 5 goals being there. So that's how I ended up in Columbus.
Speaking of goals,
Mm.
I did some research, and you're number 5 on the top 10 all-time goal scorers in MLS.
Number 6 is not far away from me, and happy birthday to Brady Wright Phillips, by the way.
Hey, how does how does how does that make you feel to achieve something that you're going to be talked about well after you're gone from the league? Like, how does that make you feel?
Dreams do come true. Dreams do come. I didn't dream about that. I
Yeah.
dreamt about being a professional soccer player and dream about just enjoying myself and scoring goals. But dreams do come true, and really sacrifices, make the right sacrifices, the parties that I missed, the birthdays, the weddings and all these things that I missed, actually did help to where I am today. I apologize to all those friends and family that missed your celebrations, but I sacrifice those times to get my sleep, get my rest, to make sure that I'm ready to go. And it's great. I'm happy that I'm able to do that, and to be able to motivate, the more Black kids that want to, do something great. Because like I said, in America, in MLS, I followed, Kobe Jones so much growing up, and so and maybe it's not just for the Black kids, but the minorities that we don't think you get more chances and more opportunities. But keep pushing yourself, keep that drive. For the kids are at home with single parents, just because your mom or your dad is not there to go watch you play doesn't mean you can't push yourself to keep going, because
Yeah.
you can be your motivation. You everything has to start with you. And when you start seeing those things, don't get big headed. Like, enjoy it, but don't get big headed,
Yeah.
because the more you enjoy it, the more success you're gonna keep getting.
If I can pay you a compliment, every time that I see you play with passion, with joy, and especially when you score a goal. I feel like, me watching it from the outside, when you score that goal, the smile that comes over your face, you're like, man, that guy loves the fucking sport. Like you can tell. And that's one of the things that I've always loved about you, man.
That's awesome, and I hope you save that recording. I need that clip because that's how I want to be. That's how I want to be described when I'm done playing this game. You know, the words that you just said. That's how I want to be described when I'm done playing. You know, we don't have championships to follow, but the love, the passion, the smile. Play and live this thing with joy. That's really what it is. And yeah, those are the words. That's how I want to be described. Of this game.
Growing up, I told you that I was a Galaxy fan. So I always thought every time there was rumors that you were going to be, hey, is he on the move? Is he going here? I always kept thinking, come to the Galaxy, come to the Galaxy, right? And then you didn't, but then you would come play the Galaxy, or the Galaxy would go play you, and you'd break our hearts. And I was like, I could never be angry with you.
Enjoy that. No, I enjoy that. It's one of the best. It's like playing against your friends. All you want to do is beat your friends,
Yeah, of course.
So it's one of the best when I come back home to the Home Depot Center, which I still call it Home Depot Center, or
I do too.
Hills. So sorry to whoever the sponsorships are for Galaxy now.
It doesn't matter.
But the Home Depot Center, I come there and then I'm like, all my friends and family are here. This is my college, like I want to score a goal here. Or when you play Galaxy, wherever you're at, I'm playing for. And I'm like, no, because everybody in LA are watching, my people in Manhattan Beach, my people in this are watching. So I want to make sure I score because if I score, they're watching at home. So those are the fun motivations.
When I was younger and I'd see you come to the Home Depot Center, and then after the game, you had a pretty big section.
You keep saying younger, man. You're making me feel like I'm older.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm 38 right now, so I believe I'm older than you.
There we go.
Back in the day, I should say. When I would go watch the games, after the games, you would have you'd have a good amount of people there supporting you. Yeah. And this was before I knew that you went to Cal State Dominguez Hills. This was before I knew you were from Southern California, or you lived in Southern California.
Yeah.
I always thought, man, he gets all the love here in LA. Like, what's going on? And then later on, I found out, I was like, oh, he went to high school. Oh, he went to college here. Oh, okay, I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah. No,
like I said,
I wasn't paying those people. I wasn't paying those people to be my fan.
You're giving them an extra $5 bills just to pump you up. I wanted to ask you, I mean, I know you've already said it a couple times during the interview, but what would you tell little kids coming up that have a dream to play in the MLS, to become a professional athlete? What advice would you give them?
Right. Make the right sacrifices. Make the right sacrifices. Like I said before, that party, that time you're hanging out with your friends, sometimes that you don't need. You need that rest. And it's not to go training, but it might be to do your homework so you can get that grade, because again, it's about education. Most of us have to play at school before you can get drafted. So you want to do good at school, Don't forget that one part of doing it at school. You missed your grades because now you can't play on the team. So make the right sacrifices, that would then, make you achieve what you want in the biggest thing, whether it's professionally. So if you make the right sacrifices early, later on, and hopefully way beyond of what I've done, you can sit there and enjoy it and say, yeah, hey, John, I'm sorry. Or, hey, Jesus, I'm sorry that I missed, your wedding, but that I had the game, so I'm sorry. Those kind of things. Yeah.
And I'm sure the people that you surround yourself, I'm sure they're very understanding. Like I told you off mic that one of my really good friends is AJ De La Garza. I didn't meet him until 2014, right? But even, I mean, I've never had anything to where I've invited him, like, oh, hey, we're doing this thing. But I understand that what he's doing is he's following his dream. He's playing. So I feel like as a friend, I need to be understanding to, hey, he has a mindset. He has something he wants to do. And as a friend, I need to be supportive. So I mean, I can only imagine that the people around you also have that mindset where they just want to see you succeed in anything you do, especially in soccer. And even if it is, oh hey, I can't go to this or I can't go to that, I'm sure nobody blames you for that, man.
No, no, it's good. AJ, the smallest center back that kind of gives me hell every once in a while. I know, but shout out to
I
that
think he's
man.
actually
It's
listed at
man.
6 feet, I think, but I'm like, no, you're not.
I'm sure, yeah.
You're not.
When he wears cleats, I'm sure he's like when he wears cleats.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, it's so cool. No, man. I mean, those are the things too, like the friends, that you do have, or even just opponents you play against sometimes. And somebody like AJ, like we haven't hung out, but this soccer family is so big, and it's so nice to have those. But yeah, when you have people around you that supports you and really, it helps your motivation. It helps push you, and don't hold grudges against you for not being there for them, because you guys are always, like you say, you're friends of his. You're always there for us. You go to our games every weekend that you can, but we're not able to go to your events all the time. But we appreciate the fact that you understand, where we're coming from. So,
Yeah.
and it comes like even so now to back to the younger guys, you have girlfriends, and or even girls playing soccer, you have boyfriends, and sometimes they put pressure on you to hang out with them so much, but you can't,
Yeah.
so you keep doing what you're doing, that this is what I want to do, and not saying you need to do something for them to just make them happy. I know there's a balance, but for as young as you are, like, have your priorities straight first, and hopefully that person understands that's more important to you. Yeah.
Yeah. And my last question to you before I let you go, is there one player that you've played against that you're like, this guy is just a headache to play against?
Oh man.
And if you don't want to share that,
Um,
you don't have to, but maybe you can tell me off mic.
no, I will. I tell a story about this one player, a center back, that I was playing for Houston, and it's so hot in Houston, and I'm just this young, kid just running around so much because I'm just like energetic. I'm like, I don't care who you are, I'm gonna take you down. And then he gave me one of these in the back of my head. Pop, like, Kai, slow yourself down. And I look back at him, I couldn't do nothing but laugh. Just Jimmy Conrad.
Oh,
And I
wow.
did not like playing against Jimmy Conrad. Yeah.
Nice.
And Jimmy Conrad, and then obviously then I moved to Kansas City where Jimmy was. But I just remember those days because again, Jimmy was a national team player,
Yeah.
and he was solid, so he knew he actually his anticipation I thought was really good. So here's when I play against those guys in my head, I'm thinking, okay, they're the top guys in the league. So as a striker, you want to really do good.
Yeah.
So I think those times were the fun times. So shout out
Nice.
to Jimmy. I will always remember that.
Hey, man, once again, thank you very much for being on the show. I can't thank you enough. It means the world to me. And I'm going to stop the
Here
recording.
from Sierra Leone, sending some loves to you and the show, and thanks for having me on the Jesus Show.
Thanks, man. I'm going to stop the recording, but stay on so I can take a picture with you real quick. All right.
Oh.
Right? Wasn't that fucking cool? I'm kind of speechless. Like, I got to talk to Kei Kamara. Holy shit. Like I said, I watched him since he came into the league playing with the Columbus Crew. And then I think I told him I saw him at the Home Depot one time at a January game that the U.S. men's national team had. And I saw him and I was like, oh shit, I wanted to take a picture with him and I didn't. Because I normally don't ask for that kind of stuff if I see a celebrity. And when I have seen celebrities, I'm like, yeah, like it's cool. I see him. I'm like, oh, cool. That's whoever it is. But what really gets me is soccer players and comedians. When I see them, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, I don't show that on the outside, I do that on the inside. On the outside, I go, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" So I got to take a picture with him. I mean, I know it's Zoom, but still, it's fucking amazing. And I got to talk to him. Like, whoa. Again, Kai, thank you so much for doing this. I know I've told you. I know I sent it to you in a text, and I told you when you were, on camera and off camera. Thank you so much. But I cannot thank you enough, man. And just, it means so much to me that you took the time to come on and you just gave me your time. Amazing. Remember, follow him on Instagram at 2K3. You can follow him there. And then I believe he has a link that you can follow his foundation as well. It's a great foundation. We talked about it. I just love that not only is he, a talented soccer player doing things on the field, I also love it when these players do something off the field to help people. That's amazing. Okay, see, now I'm like, oh, man, that was so awesome. Again, this week, well, before we get to that, remember, subscribe, rate, write a review. Go on my Instagram at TheJesusShowNTO. There's a link tree, or there's a link called a link tree, I guess. And you can find me on all the platforms that I'm on, YouTube channel, all that good stuff, and you can watch it. Remember, tell your mom, tell your dad, and tell everybody you know to subscribe to The Jesus Show, not that one. Now, once again, some more original music by me. You know what I'm reaching for? Yeah, you do. It's the guitar once again. Let's go. Let's do this. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next week. The Jesus Show, not that one. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the show every week.